So I would say that I mean, it's a well-meaning abstract, but as Dr. Ernest says, I'd want to see an actual example of that, as opposed to it's like a unicorn. I want to see it first before I can really analyze it.
Yeah, go to some Republican precinct committee meetings at the very, very grassroots level, which are almost uniformly, again, I don't know New Hampshire, but in other states, controlled by the conservative wing of the Republican Party, and just engage them in conversation about the issues that are important to you. You'll be stunned at how different they are, and how far you would have to go in compromising your principles to get their support.
I'll make it quick.
No. You want to add something to that?
No, I just wanted to encourage, go ahead. So what? You know, we had I'll give you an example, 30 seconds. In Arizona, we talked about doing this very thing. We would look at each of the 30 districts that we have in Arizona, pick which ones had no opposition going up against an incumbent, and Republican or Democrat, we'd pick the other one because you get 35% of the vote, so you just go in anyway, okay? So you could do that, run as a Libertarian, make a big stinking deal. Well, you're really Libertarian. Well, yes, I am, and you're really Communist. So it doesn't really matter. So you can go ahead and do it. It's just how open are you going to be about it? It's making fun of the whole system, which I totally encourage. But to think you're going to go in and kind of be clandestinely sneaky, kind of, you know, you're just wasting your time.
Short question?
Yeah, so on the topic of my wasted vote because I'm not voting for the winner, the best speech I ever heard was from G. Edward Griffin, and it was on YouTube. He's California doing a stump speech. It was about Ron Paul, and he did it like in 10 minutes. And I can't describe it that well, but I was hoping that each one of you could go through that and try to solve that. If you're talking to somebody and try to convince them, is there any way we can have a message that tries to fix that situation in a marketing kind of way?
Well, my first question, you'll talk about all kinds of voting problems and everything, and I look them straight in the eye and very seriously say, you're still voting? You know, if you think voting is going to make you free, you have not been paying attention. So the thing is that voting, I don't say vote, don't vote, I don't care. I put out the whole option here that voting is not the end. By the very first step, you're already agreeing that there's a state that's going to rule me by whoever wins. I mean, right off the bat, you already lost. You're capitulating to the idea that you're livestock to begin with before you even got started. So I'm not the guy to ask about that, but, you know. So if you're going to vote in self-defense, if you're going to vote you think it's a good way of expressing your opinion, I suggest putting signs up. But if you want to go ahead and let the government counting computers be your guide, then, you know, I say vote your conscience, or it is a wasted vote.
Anyone want to add anything to that?
Yeah, the ultimate solution. The ultimate solution to these problems concern things like proportional representation and instant runoff voting and things of that nature. But we don't have any of those yet. So the practical problem that confronts you is the voter who says, "I like what you're saying, but I don't want to waste my vote." And for each one that tells you that, there's 100 more that are thinking that. And so the response has to, you ought to just take it head on. What I did as a candidate was just take it head on and introduce the topic and say, now there's one thing I want you to do here. I don't want you to waste your vote by voting for the Republican or the Democrat. Because if you vote for them, you're just going to get more of the same that you had before. So please don't waste your vote, and try to turn it around and sort of judicial with that way and have them vote for you. But it's a hard question, hard problem, because that's in the back of their mind.
I'm going to drop in the last question, unless you want to say
that's
more.
okay.
I will drop in the last question, and Angela and Mary will start first. There's a thing called demographics and polling. And demographics, if I look at the room, says that most of the people in this room, but not all of them, are white. Most of the people in this room are Anglo-Saxon or Protestant or Christian or Jewish. And if we look out as America as a whole, we see something very different, don't we? Oh, by the way, more than half of all Americans are women. And if you try polling some of those groups we're chasing, you discover, if who actually do political polling, the Tea Party people as a whole, not the Tea Party people in earshot, are further from libertarians than even Republicans and Democrats are on the average. What do we want to say about demographics and recruiting the people we haven't?
Well, you know, freedom works best for the disadvantaged. In this country, that means people of color. I guess you could argue that it means women, although I don't normally do that. But we have not been the party that attracts the disadvantaged. In fact, we've taken the position, at least at the national level, that if you can't contribute significantly to the financial kitty, that all the activism that you do really doesn't count for much. And frankly, the activism is what counts. And a lot of people in this party have sacrificed their financial well-being to be activists. And we don't honor that. And so we have created a culture that really disenfranchises those who are not well-heeled, yet those are our constituents, because those are the people that freedom helps most. I mean, you know, when I think about it, I could go out and earn enough money to kind of buy my way through the system and not have to worry so much about regulations and taxes, because you don't worry about them if you can jump through the hurdles, hire an attorney, pay the taxes, it doesn't hurt you. But when you're poor, that hurts. That's our constituents, and we haven't gone after them. And that's because of the way we frame our message to be Republican-like. And that's why we look like Republicans.
Angela?
Well, Dr. Ruhr's message this morning about the libertarians as heroes really hit me hard, because it's going to come back in when we talk about the anti-war panel later. And I thought back to a speech I made when nominating Ernie for chair back in 2006. And this ties into who it is that, I mean, forget about demographics and polls and numbers and electoral schemes and who's running. It's why are we doing this in the first place? And this is what will reflect who we bring into the party. And this is what I said, and I still believe this is true. The Libertarian Party has a special mission. Whether you desire a return to constitutional principles of our founding fathers or a brave futuristic utopia, the mission of the Libertarian Party remains the same: to be a guiding light of freedom in an unfree world. We are the ones who uphold the American ideal. Ernie asked what the LP should be doing, and some are concerned with credibility, respectability, and appeals to nice people. We might do well to remember that credible people support taking marijuana from sick people, respectable people support gun confiscation, and nice people stood by while a church in Waco, Texas burned. I don't care about nice, I care about truth.
Hear, hear.
That's
You could add things.
The only thing I'd add is essentially that what I was talking about earlier, that is the co-option of the party by conservative Republicans. There's a million reasons why that's a bad idea, and this, you just added 1,000,001 reasons that in fact that demographic of those people, the ones that Mr. Root, for instance, want to bring into the party, is just as bad, as not worse, than the demographics in this room in terms of diversity. And so that's not the way to increase support among the voting populace. So it's just one more reason why we should not be, as Dr. Ruhr says, Republican-like.
Ernie, you want to add a few words?
Dr. Paul made one comment during that kind of sums it up. He goes, freedom is popular. And what he was referring to is people asked, why is it that you have so many youth? Why is it that you have so many people of color? You have libertarians. We've been around a long time, you know, and where are the women? I mean, you go to a convention and it's just, you know, men, lovely ones here, thank you. Beautiful women excluded. The point is that during the Ron Paul events and all the gatherings and the thousands of people that came, that was not an issue. There were young women, young men, people of color, old, young, it was, heck, pre-teens, children. It was a perfect example of America as it really manifests itself when they had an opportunity to manifest their love of freedom. It already has happened. As we're sitting here right now going, well, wringing our hands and how, and being debating purists and this and going, I'm going, where the hell were you guys the last 4 years? You didn't see it? It wasn't right here slapping you in the face? And I'm going, you know, Mary saw it. You know, I know Angela saw it. I saw it. We were in the middle of it. We've been at this. It's already going on. The demographic, it's freedom. And as soon as the LP starts becoming the light, the beacon, as Angela so eloquently put, of freedom, they will flood in, waiting on you now.
Freedom's the answer.
What's the question?
And with that, Judge Buttrick had a plane to catch. We have come to the end of the time and are probably over. Let us thank our wonderful panel.